Before this morning even got started, I already had a few challenges I had to overcome. Here's a photo tip for you, and I should know better. When I checked the camera I wanted to use this morning, the battery was dead. So I had a backup battery. It was dead too. So luckily my truck has a power inverter, and on the way out here I was able to charge it. But that already has me behind. It's about 7:30 right now. Should have been here probably 20 minutes ago when it was a lot darker. My challenge now is I've been seeing a bobcat about 400 yards from here. I've seen him a couple of times in the past week, and I saw him as soon as just a couple of days ago. So what I'd hope to do is get here early enough where I could sneak in the dark. But now that's not the case. I'm hoping he's not right there where I'm going to set up. I'll sneak over the hill, get set up as quickly and as quietly as I can, and then wait probably, 20 minutes for the sun to come up and give me enough light, and I'll turn the call on and see if he comes up. I've always got a chance to call a coyote as well, or maybe even a wild pig. With calling, you never know what you're going to get, so that's part of the excitement of it. It's overcast today, and so it's going to be slow getting light enough to photograph, but maybe if I can get set up quiet enough, that bobcat won't see me. Hopefully we'll get a bobcat on camera this morning. What I'll do is when I get to the top of the hill, I'm going to stop for a minute and really watch this bottomland along the creek and make sure there's no animals down there. The last thing I want to do is bump that bobcat away. If he sees me, he's going to be gone for probably the rest of the day. Probably won't come back. So if he's there, I may just wait him out. It may turn out where if he doesn't leave, I can't go in and call him, because again, I think this is kind of a long play. I'd rather miss a picture today, get pictures of him tomorrow, than to bump him and never be able to get shots of him again. So I'm feeling pretty good about today. It's a quiet morning. The sound from this predator call ought to go a long way out, so I'm pretty confident we're going to call something in. 20 minutes later, I'm set up in a pretty good spot that I think is going to work out good. I've got my back to this big red bluff behind me. I'm set up in some mesquite brush. I can see a pretty good ways down this creek to my west. I can see pretty good ways, not real far, to my east, and then to the north. It's a pretty good location. The wind this morning's real light, perfect though. It's out of the southwest, so if anything comes, the only way it's going to smell me if it comes from behind me, which is going to be hard because I've got this hill behind me. Either way, couldn't ask for a better morning. It's in the 40s, not that cold. It's comfortable out here, so I'm going to wait about 15-20 minutes, turn on the call, and see if we can get some action. After an hour's sit, I have not seen anything. Something did come up behind me. I heard a huff earlier. I think it might have been a deer trying to come down this trail and winded me because my wind is blowing back up the trail. Gosh, I don't know what I did wrong. You know, calling wildlife is a hit and miss proposition. Sometimes you call them, sometimes you don't. I've been coming up blank this year. I've tried to go out calling 4 or 5 times now and just haven't done any good yet. Key to calling wildlife is just consistency and just to keep going out, keep trying. Again, sometimes you'll have a set, you won't see anything. Sometimes you'll have a set, you'll see 2 or 3 coyotes or a bobcat, or I even tried to call a pig up this time, but again, just had no luck. Might have been I might need to leave this place alone for a while. I was here a couple of days ago, saw the bobcat. Might just need to back off for a week or so, let him forget that I'm even here, come back in and try to call again. But I'll be back to this spot because it's such a good location, and there's all the things that a bobcat likes down here. There's brush, there's water, there's game, waterfowl, songbirds, all kinds of things. So I'll go back, try to dissect what I might have done wrong, and come back at a later date and try it again.
When you are photographing truly wild animals, unpredictability usually rules. Oftentimes, you may not see anything at all, but every now and then, the unexpected happens.
That was a lot of fun. My setup here really couldn't have been any worse. After calling northwest of here and not really seeing anything, I decided to go back to the truck. But once I got to the truck, I thought I'm gonna make one more call. And so I came about 400 yards southeast of my truck, set up on the edge of this old tank dam. This pond is dried out so you can see for a long way, 100 yards, 125 yards across it. And really my thought was, I'll just see if I can call something from these hills that surround it. Typically this is good coyote country. But the problem is the wind was at my back blowing across me and really blowing my scent out into the pond. And so I didn't really have anything to lose, so I thought I'd give it a try anyway. Turned the call on. 10 minutes or so later, to the northeast of me, I catch movement out of the corner of my eye, and I look and it's a coyote sneaking up on me. The problem is I'm not even very well camouflaged. I just kind of set my camera up and a little bit of brush. There's not a whole lot of cover on this tank dam, but I thought I'd give it a try anyway. The coyote saw me before I saw him, but I was able to get a few pictures of it, get some video of it, but he eventually just tried to circle around to try to get wind of what I was. He didn't know what I was. He just knew I wasn't supposed to be there. But he circled around this tank dam, kept looking at the call, was interested in the call, and eventually he just slipped off and went away. I hope he's not too educated. That way, 2 or 3 weeks from now, I'll come back to the same spot, try to call him again. But one of the things that really hurt me though is it was overcast when I came in here, which was great because I think I was hidden pretty good. But once the sun came out, it really spotlighted me because again, I wasn't wearing any gloves, any kind of face mask. My camouflage is pretty sparse, and you can see my setup here. There's my blind right there. So I wasn't hidden very good at all, but good enough. I got a few pictures and really kind of salvaged an otherwise slow day.
Certainly these aren't the best coyote pictures I've ever taken, but when you're working with wild animals, a lot of times you take what you can get. When this coyote came in to the northeast of me, the sun this time of year hangs to the south, so it was side lit just a little bit. The lighting was good. I've got lucky on that. It was overcast all morning, and I was hoping for overcast, but it was still early enough in the morning that once the sun did break right before this coyote came in, that we didn't have too harsh of shadows. There's a little bit of overcast, so it softened the light a little bit, but the side lighting was nice, and got some good intense stares from the coyote before he took off. You know, he stuck around. You saw in the video, he stuck around just I don't know, maybe 30, 45 seconds, something like that before he left. But when he left, he circled around to the east side of the pond, and he sat there on his haunches and looked back, trying to figure out what he was seeing and what he was hearing, and what I was sitting there on the tank dam, what little camouflage I had on. So before he left, I was able to get a couple of, kind of environmental shots. But again, you take what you can get, and in this instance, I'll take it.